see if we sound fine to the general populace.
Hello, everyone. We're all here. Everything's perfectly fine.
Went,
You wouldn't know.
nothing went wrong.
Nothing fell apart. It's all good.
Oh, we're live now. I see it pop up
Yes, we're
on the screen.
yeah.
Welcome, everybody, to the Permadeath Podcast, episode 24. We're recording a live episode today to discuss everything that happened at E3. I did not make it to the E3 stream, so none of my thoughts were broadcasted anywhere on the channel, except for the outburst of tweets. So we're going to be doing that today, everything that interested us. I'm really excited. Yeah. How are you guys?
I'm good.
I'm knackered.
I'm tired. Yeah, I've been traveling today. So, and I also have my 3DS. So if you want to talk about anything that I'm not interested in, I can play Fire Emblem.
Nice.
What?
Sorry, I'm looking at the stream, and I was about to go, Kinross, the stream looks like a toilet. But then I realized for some reason my internet had defaulted the stream quality to 144p.
Man, I'm so glad that I'm outputting this at 4K and you're watching it at 144p.
I'm looking at it like, do I say something? Does it ruin the show if I go, oh, Kinross, this looks really bad. What's happening? But then I realized, wait a second, let's click the gear. 144p. What is that resolution even? Like a Game Boy Micro? Like, what the hell is that? Anyway.
That's going to be like 144 by something. I don't know.
Anyway,
Oops.
E3. Did you want to talk about E3 first, or is there anything else you guys want to talk about beforehand? Anything that happened recently that would be of more relevance? Then we deep dive into E3, because we'll be talking about E3 for a while, presumably, most of the shows. So,
yeah. I mean, there's Nintendo news, but I don't know whether any really.
Which one? I know there was a few. I know there was like them being like, we ain't gonna show to NX because people are gonna copy us, and then there was another one where it was like, we're researching VR, as well. There's a few,
and then there were like 5 articles that have been going around of people being like, this could be a problem of Zelda needs to sell 2 million units to be profitable.
When has Zelda not sold 2 million units?
I don't know. I mean, maybe Philips Games. I don't know. It's like, if we don't sell this totally normal number of games, it won't be profitable. So,
I just want to say,
I'll tell you what the last one was that sold under 2 million. I'm sure we'll find one.
Okay. Well, Skyward Sword sold 3.6. So.
Four Swords Adventure, Minish Cap. That's it.
Has any home console one not sold?
Well,
naturally, I would expect those ones to
the Wind Waker HD has sold less than 2 million. That's the only one. And Link's. Oh.
Wait, so Twilight Princess has done?
That don't know at the minute.
Okay.
I was going to say probably Link's Crossbow Training hasn't sold 2 million units. Apparently that sold nearly 6 million units. So
that game's
Killer
great.
App.
I don't know if it's 6 million
that's the
units.
premier Zelda experience.
I mean, I bought 6, so you know.
The best-selling one was.
I'm gonna guess.
Okay.
Ocarina of Time. Majora's. I'm gonna list them all. Tingle, Rupee.
Yeah, that one. That was the best-selling one. No, it was Twilight Princess for the Wii and GameCube.
Probably because it had, because it had the 2.
It sold 1.32 million on GameCube and 7.26 on the Wii.
Wow.
Will we have a similar situation with Breath of the Wild?
I don't understand why people think that 2 million units is a problem for Zelda.
I don't. I mean, sure, if it was only coming out on the NX, maybe people would be like, they've got to sell 2 million NXs and 2 million copies of. But no, you only need to sell 1 million on each. Sorted.
Most of the sales will probably be Wii U, I would imagine. But aren't they staggering the releases? Isn't it NX first and then the Wii U version?
We don't know. They haven't said for sure.
But it's just a rumor. There's been tons of rumors. Speaking of rumors, there were all those NX rumors that we were going to see it at E3. And to transition into E3, we'll talk about Nintendo first because they really only have one game to talk about, and I'm quite impressed by it in general. I'm not angry at what Nintendo did for E3, but I was so looking forward all year to the build-up of seeing the NX because I love hardware reveals. Console reveals are one of my favorite parts about E3.
Oh, then you love Microsoft.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I love it in a different way. I love hardware reveals, and like I love the fair around them. You know, it's so exciting and fun. And I was really looking forward to like Nintendo having a moment where maybe they don't do a direct and they come waltzing out and they're like, "Fucking look at this!" and they smash it down on the ground and like it blows up the theater and everyone's like, "Yeah!" And, you know, and they didn't get it. They, you know, the NX wasn't announced at E3. We got instead all Zelda, and I think they made the right move because I think Zelda kind of stole the show for a lot of people, and I think it stole the show for a lot of people because of how in depth they went with it. And like, you know, a lot of people have been curious about the Zelda for so long. You know, when they first released that trailer, I mean, they had that off-screen footage of them playing it, riding a horse, and everyone's like, "What the fuck is a Zelda?" You know, the protagonist thing, the voice acting thing, the open world thing. You know, how would Nintendo pull this off? Always speculation. Will it be a little too Assassin's Creedy? Will it be a little too bare bone? How would they do it? You know, Nintendo hasn't really made open world games before, and you know. I think the presentation that they showed off, I think the initial trailer was really sweet. It gave me goosebumps kind of. I'm not even that big of a Zelda fan in terms of how many of the games I've played, but the voice acting that comes on in the trailer and like when the music kicks in, like the landscapes and stuff, I'm like, this is fucking awesome. And then they went in more depth with the treehouse stuff and they showed the gameplay and I'm like, man, that's sweet. You could like kill an enemy and like use his arm as a weapon and like I don't know, the game looks fantastic and I think they went the right route with just showing Zelda off because I think got a lot of people excited about Zelda. So I think when we talk about sales, I won't have any problem selling it's Zelda first of all, but also you have so many people interested in this one now and not just because like oh man, but because they showed it and they went in depth and unlike a lot of other E3 presentations where it's like here's a little bit of the game or here's not any of the game at all and then here's a vague date. Nintendo was like, here's our biggest game we've made in like 6 years and enjoy it, and they showed us a lot. So
it's also being
$6 hours.
co-developed by Monolith
right?
Software.
Yeah,
That'll be
which is exciting.
helping with the open world, I imagine. And all
Yeah.
them texture pop-ins, I can't wait.
all the what were those packs called for Xenoblade X that you had to install? Like if you bought it on disc.
I don't even know. They were huge, like
Bonus.
patches that made pop-in not so much of an issue that I can't install on my Wii U because I don't have enough space. So
That's why they're making it for the NX. You know,
I'm gonna buy it on both though. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
2 of those 2 million sales that they need.
Those cartridge-based rumors have surfaced again as well. I briefly saw in my recommended news feeds that something must have cropped up that people are like, cartridges.
I would rather them go with cartridges than digital only, which was my concern when the patent for the discless thing came in a while ago. Because I like having physical things, I like having resale value on things that I buy, and I don't think that online only appeals to me that much.
If we go all digital future, it's kind of a tangent in a way. I will be so disappointed. Like, there's so many games I bought digitally this gen on PS4 that like in other platforms. I mean, PC as well, but PC is digital typically anyway. It's no physical games on PC anymore. The only ones who do it are like Blizzard. But like I bought so many games digitally on PS4 where it's like I kind of wish I could sell that. Like this game sucks. Or you know, and there's no way. I mean, if we go to an all digital future, maybe first parties will through their storefronts allow some kind of like trade back system digitally. Like I mean they would never, but I mean like I think it would be an interesting solution. I think to a lot of problems people have with like, you know, you go all in on a digital game. And I'm gonna say it, and you know, I gushed about it on a previous episode. But if I could trade it back, I would trade back the Division in a heartbeat. And I think it's a bummer to me that I bought it digitally.
I don't think we've had an episode since you saying you loved the Division.
It's an interesting turnaround. I think the way the Division's been handled is poor, and I think the way they've handled the exclusive timed exclusivity of the DLC is poor because those are big improvements on the game, and PS4 players can't get them till the end of August. While Xbox players will be getting it in like a week. It's like kind of like, okay, you know what? That's made it even worse for me because if I did want to play it, I can't. And if I could trade it in, I would, and maybe buy it later down the line, but I can't because I bought digital. And you know that and Evolve was a game I bought with a buddy because you know he promised he'd play with me. And first of all, the game sucks, so I don't blame him for never playing it again. So, but I wish I could take Evolve and either sell it or chuck it into the river. You know, but you can't do that with a digital game. So, I would much prefer cartridges as well for the NX, and I think maybe going like a cartridge like the 3DS has, you know, I don't know if when people think cartridges, if they're thinking like big ones you blow in.
N64.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Let's go
I
back
think
there. I don't care.
yeah, let's do it.
I mean, if they're N64 size, think how big the game could be.
Like,
you can fit a lot of storage into an N64
yeah,
nowadays.
probably now.
N64
But
cartridge.
back in the day, it was impressive back in the day. But now it's like they fit a whole game on there.
Yeah. Game sizes are hilarious when you look at them. Like when you download even like an SNES game on the Wii U, yeah, it's like 3 megabytes. It's like, whoa, fuck, like, damn. And now my patches for a basketball game are 9 gigabytes. What a world. So what do you guys take away from Zelda? I know you guys are bigger Zelda fans than I am, and you know, in terms of like, you know, how much you are invested in the series. Did you guys like what you saw of Breath of the Wild?
I like him.
Except for this one girl. Glove lady ruined everything every single time.
I'm gonna make Link shirtless now. He doesn't want to be wearing clothes right now.
The Valley Girl. I am unsold on the limited voice acting that there is in it. I'm glad that Link still doesn't talk, but I'm not quite sure why this mysterious ghost lady is the only one to talk thus far. But I'm sure that'll be explained. Of the actual gameplay that I saw, I loved pretty much all of it, I think.
Oh my God.
I'm still not quite sold on the art style. There's just little moments where I think it doesn't look that great.
Have you been back to watch the first trailer of it since?
I've watched it like 6 times.
Where it's like, wow, this game looks a lot crisper. I don't know why I'm surprised because it's a trailer. Like, Nintendo aren't exempt from doing the whole, the trailer isn't representative of what the final game will look like. Nintendo do that too, but I'm just
very curious.
Well, the thing is that the stream quality wasn't great.
I'm very curious
so, you know.
if what the stuff we see from the trailer is from the NX version, and what we saw of gameplay is obviously playing on the Wii U, because they don't have NX ready. So it might look like the trailer on the NX version. It could be a...
Well, I don't know what the Wii U version looked like in the stream, because the stream was garbage. And I like that there are Koroks.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I fucking love Koroks. they're so good. And I can't wait for the game. I'm really, really excited because it's like, I love open world RPGs. I love Zelda. I love Link. I love being able to make him shirtless, I guess.
How concerned are you about I always butcher his name, Aonuma, saying that you could go to you could skip bits of story?
I'm not that concerned.
If you played in a certain way.
I'm not concerned by it. I am concerned that I might accidentally skip a bit of story.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But to be honest, if it's anything like how I played Skyrim, I'm going to ignore the story for a really long time anyway.
I imagine they would probably make it pretty clear what the story progression is, like in terms of like what you do to progress the story. I think maybe did they go into detail at all about what it would be like? Because I imagine like when he says that, like I imagine like it would be like, okay, there's the indicator of what you do for the main story, but like you could
actually, that is a point.
You could by choice decide, but I think like in terms of like not knowing you're messing it up, like say you're playing Heavy Rain and you like accidentally kill someone and like, oh no, what did I mess up? Fuck, and, you know, and you don't know what you're missing. I think it'll be very clear what the progression is. I think kind of, I mean, I would imagine it would have some sort of a quest log and it would tell you.
That does remind me, like at the very beginning, there's another bit I don't like. There is like a quest highlight text thing, and it's like really big, and it's in Zelda style font, and I don't like how it sort of meshes with the rest of the world. It looks really sort of tacky.
I don't think I actually know what you're talking about, so you'll have to link it to me later.
Yeah, I will. It was literally right at the beginning. It was like, go see the old man.
What do you think of...
I could probably look that up now.
What do you think of people saying... I've seen people say this a lot, and I think it's kind of stupid. But I think it's kind of... I don't know.
Is this going to upset
No, I mean, it kind of upsets me. I think the way people treat announcements and the way people treat anything coming out of E3, is usually with a tinge of cynicism. But I think the stuff people say about this in particular is like, oh, so everyone's impressed about a Zelda game. Nintendo's finally caught up with all the old open world mechanics from the last 5 years. How is that impressive? What? It's like, dude, like, what does that matter?
I want to deforest all of Hyrule.
I mean,
thank you very much.
It's like with every Nintendo game, there's an undeniable, how do you put it? Like an undeniable Nintendo factor about everything they make, whether it's a generic concept or not. And I'm very interested to explore an open world created by Nintendo, and I think
I feel like this is probably going to come across as like my Nintendo fanboyism, but I feel like when Nintendo does something, they do it in, like, if they do a particular genre, like in this case an open world RPG, they do it in such a way that it's actually of interest to me. Like a lot of open world RPGs,
and you look at they did with the shooter last year. The same thing is like, I think Nintendo does stuff their own way, whether it's borrowing qualities from stuff that's been around for a while or not. And I think if people are expecting to open Breath of the Wild and play an Ubisoft game set in Hyrule, well, they're just fucking stupid. I mean,
there are towers. There are radio towers.
Okay, I can't find this, but I'll find it later.
No, okay, yeah, I'll get your timestamp.
I don't know. I'm just like, everything that people are saying about Zelda is annoying me in some way, because it's either like, oh man, we thought Link was gonna be a girl, but it turns out that Aonuma didn't want Link to be a girl, so now we're really offended about that, even though when Linkle was a thing, we hated her. And it's just like, I don't know why that is an issue right now when they have just announced the game, and with the context that we have of Link waking up in a shrine of resurrection, that says to me probably a previous Link, and Aonuma probably didn't want to spoil anything because they were super careful about what they showed us, so it didn't spoil any of the game. Like, they took out all the NPCs that were in the game, apparently, because they didn't want to spoil anything.
Basically, they baronized it.
So, which led to a bunch of people being like, man, this looks like the emptiest open world I've ever seen. And it's just like, can we just be happy that we finally seen something of Zelda for at least 5 minutes? Like, just give us 5 minutes to not complain about, like...
But no, we saw it for at least 6 hours.
Amiibo content, or Link's gender.
Those Amiibo look amazing.
Or whatever, I'm just saying. I'm just so done with, like, controversy for no reason. Like, that's my bit. I'm not even excited about the game anymore because everyone's ruined it for me. That's not true. I'm still really excited.
You'll be excited in like 6 months.
I don't want to be excited right now because I really want to play it. Like, I'm thinking, man, I really
want
to play a Zelda game now. So I went out and bought Twilight Princess HD and was like, this isn't what I wanted to play. I think I want to play Skyrim, you know?
So, speaking of open world, of games taking on an open world format, I'm gonna shift it over to my very sad disappointment that for another E3 we have not seen anything of Mass Effect Andromeda.
Incorrect.
Well,
we saw like 5 minutes.
We saw barely anything involving the game in those 5 minutes. We saw them like talk it up again. We saw a little bit of the female protagonist. We saw a little bit of them jumping out of a ship. You know, it's every year, the last 2 years.
All new races, but they've got the old ones too.
I wait and wait and wait and wait for fucking Mass Effect. Now, I didn't get to watch EA. I wasn't around to watch EA. But I had a buddy text me. It was, oh, they're talking about Mass Effect now. And I'm like, fucking yes, keep me updated. And then like 2 minutes later, he goes, oh, it's it. And I'm like, wait, what did they show? No, nothing really. And they said, we'll look out for next year. Oh, not next year. Like to the fall, and we'll talk about more. Jesus Christ! Show me something. Show me the story trailer. You don't have to reveal the whole game. Like I understand they want to maybe make a big event out of it because, like, you know, in terms of like Battlefield and Titanfall, that's all EA already has for this year. And then next year, what the hell do they have? You know, Mass Effect's like their big like fuck yeah moment of 2017. So it's like, yeah, we want to kind of build this up and get the marketing machine going. You know, do it in November for N7 Day. You know, November 7th. So yeah, that's probably what they're doing. I think they have since E3 they have since said, you know, look out for N7 Day. Will be full reveal of the game, get the marketing machine going. But it's like, dude, we don't know shit about this fucking game. Like, we don't know anything at all about Mass Effect. Like, it is the most, I don't know how to put it without being vulgar, but like, it is the most just tantalizing fucking thing. I got so hyped this year for a few things, and one of them didn't even show up. Two, and this one showed up, but in the worst way ever. Like, I want to see a story trailer. I want to know what the game is about. I know what the game's about in a way. You have Ryder, our captain, with his Ark ship or whatever, use the Ark to leave the Milky Way to enter this new galaxy.
The what?
The Milky Way. The candy bar. To enter this new galaxy. To find a new place to live for all these species. That's why I assume there's older races in the game, because he brought them over. So what the hell? A story trailer. Stop. If you don't have anything to show at all, don't even bring it to the show. But I understand EA had jack shit, and we'll talk about EA in 2 seconds. To the point where, like, yeah, they had to show a piece of it, I guess. But aside from Mass Effect not showing up, my disappointment, there's not much I can really say about it, except for the bits that I did see, the little bits of gameplay that I did see, and they're like, look at how good are making the facial animations. Like, great, I'd like to see the game associated with those facial animations. How about that? It does look great. I'm really excited for Mass Effect. Titanfall 2 and Battlefield 1 are the shooters, the big shooters of the show besides Call of Duty. I'm excited for Titanfall 2 because Titanfall 2's maps look huge, and there's a story campaign, and there's more mechs, and one of them has a sword, and I get to live out my multiplayer Gundam fantasy, and that's what I wanted from Titanfall 1. They didn't give me. All I could do in Titanfall 1 was walk in a big lumbering mech and punch things with it, but in this one, looks cool. And then there's Battlefield 1, obviously World War 1, which is what everyone's excited about.
I honestly remember nothing about EA.
I didn't watch it.
I remember that they showed like a bit of. Well, they didn't show anything of Star Wars, but they're like, we're working on 5 Star Wars games.
Oh my god, dude, that was the shittiest. I didn't watch it live, but I rewatched a lot of it, and that whole Star Wars thing with Visceral, the Star Wars game we've been once again like Mass Effect, we've been waiting to see, because this is like the big Star Wars game, helmed by Amy Hennig, the Uncharted creator, and it's like, what's it gonna be? Is it gonna be Uncharted in Star Wars universe? And then we get to see a 3-second clip of him walking out of a building and then going, "That's it, baby." Like, what the fuck?
I thought they weren't going to be at E3 at first.
Yeah, this E3 has been a goddamn mess. It's switched between EA not showing up at all and doing their own thing entirely, Nintendo not being there aside from showing off Zelda, and then they showed off more stuff, and then EA were like, yeah, we'll do a conference and then also this other thing. So we'll live stream like 40 minutes of Snoop Dogg playing Battlefield and not getting a single kill.
Those every year there's something cringy, and anyway.
At least that was out of the conference. That was like,
it was a separate stream.
You're wasting your
I
own
don't want to
time.
go too detail with that. Aside from the fact that I'm actually genuinely excited for Titanfall and Battlefield. I think Battlefield looks really good, and I don't know if it's because maybe the game looks great, or if it's because I'm fucking sick of the future, and I think it's really refreshing to see these maps and these guns and not see somebody run on a wall.
Was it EA who showed off that Fee game?
Yes.
Or was that Microsoft?
Yes, so was EA.
I don't know whether I like the look of that, but it seemed interesting at least. It's no Unravel. He didn't have a little man with a little thing.
Didn't have a little man.
So aside from that, are any of you interested in any of the big shooters from EA?
I was literally like, I could watch EA or I could do something else. So I went with something else.
I'm in two minds about Battlefield just because Battlefront made me ill. So whilst I'm interested, I don't know if I'll play it because I don't know if I'll be physically able to. There's something about that graphic system and the motion blur and the yeah, I just don't like it.
I can see that.
It's too real.
Moving on to Bethesda, who I
Garbage. I mean, sorry.
I really like the Prey reveal. Granted, we know nothing about the game aside from that it's being developed by Arcane, the Dishonored guys. I thought the concept of the trailer was great. I'm kind of disappointed that it's no longer Prey 2 in its cyberpunk open world setting. I think there's not enough of those. Actually, there's none of those games besides Deus Ex. And
Skyrim remastered.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
God beams.
In a way, because I have it on PC and I can get all the mods already. But it's kind of like I like the fact that Bethesda's pushing at the consoles and with mod support, because I think it's cool for people who haven't been able to play it on PC, like big Skyrim fans, to be able to go and use the mods and stuff.
That's the thing I thought that they were going to do with it, because this was rumored for quite a while. So I was like, well, if this is going to happen, they're going to bring it out on Xbox One, PS4, going to have mod support. It'll probably look a bit nicer too. I didn't anticipate them re-releasing it on PC and giving everyone who's got the game and the DLC a free upgrade.
Possibly.
I imagine.
I've now heard people saying that won't be the case, that there will be a small fee to upgrade.
I think they've said that it's free.
Well, I don't know what I believe anymore.
What's it called again? Special
But fair
edition?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's free, it's free. I still won't play it because I don't like that game.
Free.
The only thing I'm worried about, when I looked it up, Abby, is Bethesda seems, and it's strange, even now in this day and age, they seem really inept at doing anything on Sony platforms. The mod...
You mean like the mod support being
mod
delayed?
Support, yeah, it kind of broke in beta. They had to reduce the limit, like you can, the mod size limit and everything, and they just... I don't know if it's a matter of hardware or if it's just Sony's network infrastructure. It's a little different than Microsoft, so they have to figure that out. I imagine they will. It's just a bummer to me because I was looking forward to it at the end of this month to check it out. Because again, like I think I've said it. I don't know if I said it on this or anywhere else. I think it's really a big step forward Bethesda did with mod support for consoles, and like it opens the door for so much. And like it's exciting, and I hope they iron it out for Sony platforms before Skyrim comes out, because I'm definitely planning on buying it. It just bumps me out like that.
They did tweet out, if you own Skyrim and all its add-ons or own Legendary Edition on Steam, you will get a free upgrade to Skyrim Special Edition on October 28th.
Aside from the visuals, which I imagine won't be too different than PC on high?
They're pretty different. The PC looks
different,
pretty bad.
Okay. So it is worth it then, I guess, if you have the PC.
Well, if it's free, then yeah. But the DLC isn't on like considerable sale right now anyway. So if you'd rather just mod it on your own time, then that's fine. But I already own all the stuff, so I'm gonna.
I think it just like saves the effort of having to find the right mods. It's like, we found the mods.
That's my issue. I'm just like, I can't be arsed. Like, I can't be arsed trying to find texture mods that run on my PC and don't tank the frame rate. So that that helps that it's an official thing. So I have a little bit of faith that it won't tank the frame rate at the very least.
Yeah. It is Bethesda though.
I've never had frame rate problems with Bethesda. I've had crashing problems. I've had glitches. I've never had frame rate issues, apart from in Fallout 4 in the middle of Boston, because there's so much going on.
Yeah, I had a fair few, but I was on.
But have you heard that Todd Howard has been doing some interviews, and people have been saying, "You're working on Elder Scrolls 6," and basically he said, "No."
I think
he said we're working on a lot of stuff. So we might be working on Elder Scrolls 6, but he has apparently confirmed they aren't officially working on.
I think I saw the headline that like that's really far off. Which is what we all.
Yeah, I thought I heard something that we wouldn't see anything
until. We all assume anyway.
No, they have said that they're working on other stuff that aren't related to Fallout and Elder Scrolls. Bethesda Game Studios specifically are working on things that aren't for those two franchises.
To make a new freaking IP. I mean, it's strange. Elder Scrolls is in a really weird spot for me as I look at it, because Elder Scrolls Online is a very profitable game. It's doing really well. You know, the DLCs sell well. You know, the game, despite its launch, turned around very well for them, for Bethesda as a publisher, and you know, it continues to do well. So I look at the Elder Scrolls series and I'm like, I don't think there's any rush to do 6, because I think in terms of fans getting their Elder Scrolls fix in a way, it's obviously not the way people would prefer, and I think Skyrim is still probably more infinitely popular even than Elder Scrolls Online.
The only thing I want to know is where it's going to take place. I'll be happy for another couple of years if they just say it's going to be set in elsewhere or something. I'd be like, yeah, and then I'd get excited about that.
It's going to be set in Tamriel. There you go.
Yeah, it's going to be set in Tamriel, maybe, probably.
Because the way Elder Scrolls Online is set up is like they're slowly trickling out like all of these areas that are throughout the and like I wonder when an Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, what happens to Elder Scrolls Online's player base? You know what I mean? The people who have been playing it for a while. I mean, presumably it would dip for a bit.
Imagine it would die down for a bit and then they come back.
Finish, yeah. It's just I would feel really bad, I think, for the devs of Online, for that brief moment where like, you know, they just see their player base dwindle, and you know. But I think Bethesda as a publisher, I think would coordinate that really well. I think there would be things, maybe cross promotion between the MMO and the official game. If you buy the official game, you get some items in Elder Scrolls Online or something. The way Blizzard does a lot of their cross promotion stuff with Overwatch and Diablo, and if you buy this, you get this in this game, and so I'd imagine they do something like that.
They did announce the last bit of Fallout 4 DLC as well.
Nuka World or whatever,
Nuka
right?
World, and then some more settlement stuff. Like, the Vault thing. The Vault thing was cool, actually.
Yeah.
Kind of wish I'd gotten a season pass now.
When it was
Still
cheap.
a bit of an idiot for not
up.
getting a season pass.
Yeah.
To be fair though, we knew
I think that's
literally
the only
nothing
time I've
about
looked
it.
at something and gone, man, that was a good season pass deal. That was a really good deal on that season pass, because Far Harbor by itself is 20 quid. I'm imagining Nuka World is also going to be 20 quid by itself, which is double the price that the season pass was when it first went up for pre-order.
Yeah. Near enough. I think it was about 25 quid.
The only time that I've regretted not buying a season pass. And
Generally though, you shouldn't buy season passes.
I don't.
Because you don't know what
I
you're going to
bought one for Hyrule Warriors, and then I was like, by the time that they were trickling out the
That guy's on his way right now to go buy a season pass at Game or whatever your store is. I don't know what your store is called.
Yeah. Game.
By the time it got to like the end of the season pass with all the stuff that was coming out, I was like, I'm sort of done with this game. Like, I'm fine not having any more, so I haven't bought a season pass since.
I have friends who have been burnt on the Division season pass. You know, so yeah, season passes are typically blah. It's kind of interesting, but there's a strategy with the season pass, and I think I still kind of look at it kind of sour. I understand raising the price because you're going to be adding more, and you are getting more for your value. Then, you know, it makes sense to raise the price, but I still think the way they did it is kind of stupid. Like, hey, you know, drive sales at first, and then it's full price now, so then they're still gonna get those sales on the full price ones eventually. Yeah. It was kind of like, maybe you should just keep it that low. You know what I mean? Good grace, you know, all that stuff. You make a lot of money. So, but again, I understand why they did it. And I don't think it's a nasty move. It's just kind of funny the way they did it. Like, you're kind of just sitting on the edge, like, oh, I should buy it because it's gonna go up. You know what I mean? Like, trying to part with your money that you.
It's like the Steam sales stuff of, it's on sale. I don't know if I want it, but it's 50% off.
But yeah, no, that was great. I know I got to get back to Fallout 4 at some point. Everything else.
When I get a graphics
everything
card.
else that Bethesda announced. I mean, I'm excited for the Elder Scrolls Online updates, but again, they're MMO updates, and in terms of talking about them on here, I don't know how worth it is. I mean, for people maybe on the fence, I think Tamriel is like an interesting update. You know, it just cohesively melds everything in the one level, and like, I'm not sure how I feel about it 100%, but I think it's cool because, like, you know, if I'm playing it with a friend who's new, I can still play with them, and I don't have to worry about, you know, the one problem with MMOs is, you know, I've been playing this MMO for a while, and I want my friend to get it, and he gets it, and it's like, I can't play with him, and I don't really want to make a new character because I spend all this time on one guy.
Yeah.
But, you know, this helps, and it was a good system in Guild Wars 2. There's systems in place in Final Fantasy 14 to let you play with your friends, so I think this was their version of that, and I think it's their way of saying, like, look, it's an Elder Scrolls game now. You can go everywhere, right? You know, all that, and you don't have to level up. You know, everything scales to you, and it's almost like that, and I think it's interesting because it makes the landmass huge now for every faction, because previously you had 3 factions and all their zones were split up and you couldn't go to them if you were in Almeri Dominion. You couldn't go to the Ebonheart Pact zones. Now, I don't know how they're going to do it story-wise. It's not going to make any fucking sense. I'd like to see how they're going to do it. Is you can go everywhere, and that's interesting. It's interesting for people maybe on the fence, like, is it like an Elder Scrolls game? Like, well, yeah, it's been for the most part, and this makes it even more so. I think it's interesting. We'll see how it works.
Just because it confused me then. So on the Guild Wars side, if I recall if you go to a lower level zone, it drops you down.
Higher level zones don't
But it
scale you
doesn't-
up. Yeah.
No, but so the one Tamriel thing does it both ways. Low level scales you up. Low, blah blah.
So you can do any content any order you like, which spices it up a good bit because this helps. Again, I said I wouldn't go too much on this, but it's a thing that's it's kind of important to me. This update, I think, in a way that I will be playing the game. The way it works now is, you level through these zones, and your faction kind of has a story in a way, not 100% cohesive, but it takes you from zone to zone. So like any MMO. I know Abby's played WoW. You know how it goes. Like you'll do all the quests in Duskwood, and then you'll move on to Stranglethorn, and then you'll move on to wherever, and move on to here and there. That's how Elder Scrolls Online was sort of like. And the problem that happened was, let's say you do some dungeons or something. Those dungeons give you a lot of experience. You might level up 2 or 3 times in a dungeon. You go back to your quests. Those quests are now gray to you. They give you jack shit experience. They're not worth doing, but you have to do them because you can't progress to the next zone otherwise. So the way this works then is like, oh, you over-leveled the zone? Well, fuck it, man. You got the whole world of Tamriel to explore. Leave. So like it retroactively fixes some problems I had, and it makes the game world bigger. It allows friends to play together because you'll always get rewards pertaining to your level, whether you're higher or lower. So it's a big update. I hope they don't fuck it up. Because I love the game a lot, but some of their updates break things sometimes, and ZeniMax Online is known for not fixing those, and they just go ahead and add more shit on top of it. So we'll see how they do this. Bethesda.
I was kind of surprised by how much
Dishonored?
Bethesda had, considering last year was basically like, here's some stuff, but now we're going to talk about Fallout 4 for 35 minutes.
Yeah. Dishonored looks good. I never beat the first game, so my care for Dishonored isn't like I don't like care, but like I'm not like disinterested. It's just I don't go like Quake Champions was an interesting announcement. I saw people getting so hyped about Quake Champions, and then they saw that it was a hero shooter, kind of Overwatch in a way. And I saw people's hype quickly deplete. I'm not quite sure why they thought doing it that way would be a good idea. But I guess maybe I can when they see how popular that type of shooter is now.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see. Maybe it'll retain a lot of the elements people like about arena shooters like Quake and add some of those formulas on top. I have faith in everything until I see it sucks. So we'll see how that goes. Elder Scrolls Legends is something I'm actually interested in.
It'll be like the Hearthstone that I never got into, but I also probably won't get into this. I'll probably like play it for a little bit, and then be like, oh yeah, I'm shit at card games, and then stop.
It's the world of card games now. Like everyone wants a piece of that pie, kind of like how everyone made a MOBA. The good thing about Elder Scrolls Legends is like I want to play Hearthstone so freaking bad, and every time I can't because I'm so behind on cards, and people will always tell me like, Bill, it's not pay to win, don't worry about it, man. You could just jump in.
You just need to buy these 5
You can
decks.
just jump in and play. But it might be easier for you to get a start if you buy this adventure pack and this adventure pack to kind of give you some cards. Each adventure pack's $25 and fuck off. So it's like with Hearthstone, I missed the boat so much, and people will say I didn't because there's new players joining every day. You're not always going to get overpowered people, and it's the nature of a card game. You're not just going to have every card right off the bat. But I think what bothers me so much about Hearthstone is there's no really easy way to jump in. There's no like starter pack. I think a lot of physical card games have like starter editions that give you a bunch of cards. Hearthstone just like, hey, fuck it, here you go, and you just left into the world. And Elder Scrolls Legends is brand new, and I plan on trying to get into that from the start. And if it's going to be popular, that's great because I'll be in there with everybody from the start, and and I will get the cards naturally as everybody else does, and instead of jumping in after everybody's been playing Hearthstone for 3 years and building their decks, so or not playing for 3 years and dropping $300 on it.
You should have seen how excited I was when I recognized a card from it, because like Hearthstone has none of that recognizability for me. But I was like, oh my god, it's Odoving! I'm so excited about this dragon that you see like once in this one game.
It's like
It was bug rolling.
I love Boogroll, he better be. I'm excited. And like that's what bums me out about me not getting into Hearthstone from the ground floor, because I'm a huge Warcraft fan, and like seeing the cards, like I watch my buddy Rob play it, and like I'll get real jealous because he has like all of these WoW raid bosses and like these WoW heroes and all these people from these games in his deck, and I'm like, man, like I love WoW. I love the aesthetic of WoW. I love the world of WoW. And like the fact that I'm like not playing this is a sad thing, but I love Elder Scrolls just as much. So like getting into it from the ground floor and seeing and recognizing things is going to be fun. And you know they aren't just copying Hearthstone. You know, there's some interesting mechanics with lanes and stuff. So I'm interested in that.
It's got a single player as well, doesn't it? Like a campaign.
Yeah.
So that's
I mean, your Hearthstone issue is the exact same issue I have with every MMO.
Man, I'm so not into this because I'm not in.
No, I'm not into it because I can't get into it. Like, for example, WoW, very popular MMO, but it is so impenetrable to me. I'm like, I can't bother starting now.
I mean, the difference though with WoW and Hearthstone is like WoW, you can catch up to everybody without paying $300. Hearthstone, I mean, you can.
But what about all the pre-Cataclysm stuff? I'm not going to know anything of that stuff.
Mean, like,
I jumped in at Cataclysm, and I didn't really have a problem with
all of the. I mean, you'll still get all of the quests. You know, you'll still be able to level through everything as long as you read the quest. You'll know what's going on from level 1.
The more you play it, the more you hear about these cool bosses that aren't in the game anymore, and you're like, oh.
That's the other thing, yeah. But in terms of like getting into WoW, like I think as one of the things I wish Blizzard would do with Hearthstone is what they've done with WoW is if you're a new player and you buy World of Warcraft right now, let's say it's on sale for $5, you get every expansion. Barring Legion, you don't get Legion because it's brand new. But Blizzard rolls every expansion into WoW once a new one is like on the brink of coming out, and like. I understand they modernize the game on a monthly fee, and Hearthstone is free to play. But like, I kind of like the idea of rolling old stuff into the base game after a certain amount of time has passed.
How much is World of Warcraft a month?
15.
15?
15.
Yeah. 15 of your regional monies. It doesn't
extensively
matter.
Talking about Legion come August 30th. So I'm excited. But yeah.
Yes. Wait, what? Yeah, $14.99 in dollars. I don't know how much it is in pounds. So.
26.
I don't. No, it's.
That's an economy joke.
It's,
is it really 26?
Fucking hell! I just want to. How much is World of Warcraft UK per month?
You could just how much is $15?
I can't do my magic comparisоning stuff because
monthly subscriptions will rise to $9.99 from $8.99. 3 months will be $28.17, and 6 months will be $52.14.
Wait, what?
$52.14.
No, what was the first one? 28.
8. All right. £10 a month.
Oh, sorry. I was doing it the wrong way around. Never mind. I was like, 9 times 3 is 27, so they're charging you more for £3, but no, it's £10. So you're saving £1.
Yes.
Hooray!
That's expensive. Like, I really want to get back into World of Warcraft because, I don't know, it's fun, but at the same time, it's £10 a month. That's a lot of money.
120 quid a year.
Especially now, considering our financial climate. It's not good. I can't afford World of Warcraft. It's too much money.
I think that's pretty much all from.
Speaking of, I just want to say really quick. It's a really big aside, and that's nothing to do with E3. It has something to do with Warcraft. But I did see the Warcraft. I did see the movie, and I loved the movie a lot. And I'm really sad that I don't know if it's getting a sequel or not. And I think a lot of the movie's problems, I think, with critics.
I think that they said that.
Did you hear how well it did in like China?
Yeah, it murdered. Overseas in general, that movie killed. So I mean, I think it has a big shot of getting a sequel, and I hope it does. So I think a lot of the problems with the movie, I think with critics, is that I saw it
sequel,
and I saw it with my 2 cousins who I used to play WoW with religiously. My one cousin hasn't played it in years and years, and he kind of forgot a lot of stuff. When we walked out of the movie, he's like, I kind of didn't know who some of those people were, because like the way the movie ended up presenting itself was like, we're not gonna bother explaining this to anybody who hasn't played the games in a way. Like if you have any ounce of knowledge of Warcraft, you'll understand what's going on. But I can understand like the general population walk in and go, oh man, what's this Lord of the Rings time movie with orcs, oh baby? And they sit down and like, what's going on? They leave the theater and go, what happened? You know, and it's very reliant on the fans. And as somebody who loves Warcraft, I really enjoyed the movie. I think it was really surreal. And maybe that's not the right word. It's kind of going overboard, maybe hyperbole. Like, it's so surreal, but it was seeing after all these years of them always saying Warcraft movie and seeing Stormwind and Ironforge and Elwyn Forest and Goldshire and the inn in Goldshire and seeing the interiors and seeing the Dark Portal and seeing all the stuff on a big screen. It was like, man, this is cool. This is cool payoff. And like seeing a Murloc walk across the screen at one point in the forest, and it's like, this is like really cool to go to my movie theater and see this stuff with a Hollywood budget. So I really like the Warcraft movie. Panned by critics, but I love it, so that's fine. But anyway, Bethesda. That's it, I think, really of interest for us. Unless you guys have anything that
I think we actually talked about everything that
they
had.
Yeah.
Apart from like Doom updates, but I don't care.
So I'll move on to Microsoft now. I think Microsoft actually had not a bad show, to be honest. I think one of the biggest things to me watching Microsoft's, and I think it's an interesting strategy, is that everything they showed, every single game is coming to PC as well as Xbox. And you gotta like look at that and be like, okay, I mean, as someone who doesn't have an Xbox but maybe has a PC, or maybe somebody who's looking to upgrade their PC, like, why would I buy an Xbox? You know, especially when the multiplayer games don't require Xbox Live to play online if you buy the PC version, but you're still playing, I believe, with the Xbox Live community. It's kind of like, what the hell are they doing? Like, it
doesn't come with PC. Doesn't work on PC. Works on Windows 10. Also, Ebby, you are very, very dark.
Sorry.
You might want to turn the light on.
The darkness goes well with what we'll be talking about at the end of this conference, which is this new frontier we're entering with console hardware. But in terms of that, in terms of what they show though, game wise, I think Sea of Thieves still looks great. I think the demo they showed of Sea of Thieves looks really fun.
I didn't like their way of demoing it.
Let's get some LPs.
I feel like it's like they weren't real LPs as far as I can tell. They were hired to pretend to be LP. It's like the fake microphone chat, except now it's fake LPs.
The game looks really fun. The problem again, and I don't know if like the people who put these E3 conferences together
just play Guns of Icarus.
don't like sit down and like read the feedback or read what people say. But I guess these things work, marketing wise, in a way. I guess I don't know. But like
get pissed about it and they talk about it.
But like, nobody believes that this shit's real when they do it, and Ubisoft's so guilty of it. Again, they did it with Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon, where like they said like, you got Tango on your 6. Like, who the fuck is playing a game? Who the fuck's playing a game like that? Like, they did it with Division.
I'm gonna play the game like that so bloody hard.
Like,
we're gonna play that game, Bill. I'm gonna be like, Tango on your 6, Bill. Tango on your 6.
Division, they're like, all right, we've got a guy on your 12. Oh man, take cover. Oh man, we got some bogeys. Like, what the fuck? What like accountants coming home and like, oh, okay, I want some games, and like like when I played the Division, it was mostly, it was vulgar. I mean, it wasn't that. I mean, so like even when you watch the Sea of Thieves stuff and when you watch the Wildlands stuff, it's like nobody plays games like this. Nobody plays games like this. And it was also when they tried making the commercial for Elder Scrolls Online for the console release, they had like this thing where they had like these real people playing it. And they're talking like as if they were in the South Park episode about World of Warcraft, like this, just spouting off every MMO cliche they can come up with, like, oh, how's your DPS, Tom? Like, Tom doesn't need to answer that question because nobody asks it. Like,
it's 3. My DPS is 3. So all right, shut up.
I can understand how these companies make games. I mean, it's not the companies who make the games; it's the PR departments and the marketing departments. But like, so many years of being ridiculed for this stuff, and they still sit down and go, "Here's the plan. We're going to have all these people play this game as if they are real Marines." And people are going to be able to relate to that because everybody at home plays games like they're real Marines. 12-year-old Billy Boy.
And they're going to cry like an anime fan on prom night.
Oh, God. This year after year, we're reminded that the people who market games have no fucking clue what they're doing. Like, and it's like,
honestly, my issue with Sea of Thieves...
Sorry, Mighty Number 9, going back to that. Anime fan on prom night thing is that Mega Man had several anime adaptations.
The whole thing was
so that just makes me laugh.
Like, the whole fan base of Mighty Number 9 likely loves anime. Like, it's so like, oh God, this is.
It's an anime art style, for the love of God.
It's just a fucking disaster. Anyway, it's
Make
like
yourself cry like you're reliving your prom night.
Joke's on you. I didn't have a prom night
yeah.
that they told me about. Now, my thing is with Sea of Thieves is, why would I not just play Guns of Icarus?
Well, I guess because Guns of Icarus ain't on Xbox.
I
And
suppose.
presumably, we haven't seen it, but I imagine there's going to be some ground gameplay to Sea of Thieves. I would imagine some Port Town type stuff, and because they did say it's part MMO in a way, so I imagine there would be some social hub
Maybe.
stuff. I think we haven't seen everything Sea of Thieves has to offer, and I think people like that nautical stuff, with the pirates, and I do agree that Guns of Icarus does the same thing. But I think in terms of like coming to console and like it's rare, and I don't know how much people associate rare with quality nowadays, but I mean I think it looks interesting. I'd probably get it on PC because I don't have an Xbox and probably won't get one.
What about the Slim?
Well,
It's super relevant,
dude, we'll get this out of the way right now because I think for months leading up to E3, it was always rumors of the new hardware iterations coming out for both Sony and Microsoft. It started with Sony with the PS4K, and then it was PS Neo, and this incremental world now for consoles where every 2 or 3 years we'll get a new upgrade to the console instead of a new generation. They're kind of like the way PCs work, and you think of it, and it's like
Or a phone.
yeah, more specifically phones. I think it's a better example. And when the new phone comes out, old phone doesn't become obsolete. It plays most of the games fine until you get so many generations ahead. Then it starts to like, okay, my phone is lagging behind now, kind of deal. But with video games, it might be a bit different, and depending on how they handle it, it could make people who bought the PS4. I mean, because the thing is, it's never happened. People are used to it with cell phones. People are not used to this with video games. They buy a PS3 and they're set until the PS4 comes out. And there's a comfort in that, and knowing that every game that comes out, for the next 8 years, you're going to be able to play and buy it. And it's going to run. It might not run great, but you're going to be able to play it. So, like with the PS4, once again, new generation starts. Everyone buys it. They're all excited. Nice future ahead. PS4 is dominating. Everyone's super hyped. Then all these rumblings come out of like an upgraded PS4 with like increased frame rate, increased resolution. Games are gonna. There might be some games that have exclusive features to the PS4K, but they'll still work on the PS4. All this stuff and scaring the fuck out of people leading up to E3. And everyone's like, "Are they going to announce it? Are they going to announce it?" Then Microsoft's rumors come out. It's teraflops and all this shit that no one understands. And now it's a reality because if it was just a rumor with Sony, it might be like, oh, maybe that's just kind of BS. Maybe it's just a PS Slim. But then Microsoft's rumors come out, and everyone's like, oh shit, this shit's real. And I can't wait to see E3 to see how fucked we're all going to be. So Microsoft has the bright idea of they announced this hardware at E3, but the problem with that announcement is one, it has no freaking name. Like they're so rushed with announcing this fucking thing, this new teraflop piece of box that
It's Project Scorpio. It doesn't have a name yet.
Like they come out and go, we're going to announce this thing at a press conference that consumers and the press and retailers and everything are paying attention to. Their eyes are glued to it. Here's this new piece of hardware, and it just has our internal project name attached to it. Doesn't even have a freaking name. So they don't even show the console. They just have a bunch of dudes in like a really dark documentary. Like they're watching one about aliens, and they're like, "Yeah, we think video games are the best shit. And you know what makes them better? Teraflops. And you know what makes teraflops better? Xbox." And like you're supposed to be getting hyped up about this thing, and we have no idea what it's gonna be. Like they didn't communicate well enough that it's not the Xbox One S, which they announced 20 minutes prior to the Scorpio.
That is my issue.
Not only is it Project Scorpio starts with an S, they have the Xbox One S with an S. Could that S mean Scorpio? Maybe the confused guy watching the press conference can go, "Oh, I think it is. This is great. What a cheap way to get into Xbox with an increased teraflop." But no, it isn't. What a fucking stupid move. Oh.
I need to turn my light on. Could you put my AFK in there for a sec?
Yeah, just uno momento. Where's it gone? Oh no. Okay, there you go. During the stream, I was like, okay, because Alan was visiting back a shift, and he was like, "Man, your Xbox One is really big, and it comes with a massive power brick." I'm like, "Yeah, it does," and the hard drive's not great either. And then we're like, "We're gonna bring out the One S. It's smaller, slimmer, has no power brick, and comes with a bigger hard drive." I'm like, yes! Okay, I'm in! When does it come out?
Increased visuals with HDR lighting and stuff. And it's like, man, they're building this up as if it's a thing. Yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
And it could play 4K video, which I'm not too fussed about. I'm like, alright, fine, I will pre-order this thing. I don't know if Ebby's back. I will pre-order this. And, well, I will buy it. I'll see what I can trade in my thing for. And then, at the end of the conference, they come and tell me, this time next year, your console's going to be redundant if you buy the Slim. So I'm like, well, do I buy the smaller one, which is a lot smaller for sure? Like they showed, I've seen comparison images. It is tiny, and there's no power brick. Or do I wait for the actually better console?
And it's a situation that, and I think they shouldn't have announced the 1S at the conference. I think they maybe should have announced the 1S throughout the week. You know,
Sorry, you're back,
because
by the way.
I think the way they did it is stupid. And the whole idea though of these iterative consoles is like, you know, they've kind of like are driving it home that like it's not gonna make PS4 or Xbox One obsolete. It's just a way to kind of push progress without leaving people behind. And like in theory, I like the idea of like iterative consoles. I was initially totally against it. I think it's garbage, and I've always hated it with Nintendo handhelds. But it's never been an issue with Nintendo handhelds where like you were left behind. I mean, now you can't play certain exclusives, which is like 2, but like for the most part, it's like, you know, you can still buy these games. You know, Fire Emblem, you know, all these new big 3DS games you can still play. So, but when you look at it, you know, in this regard, you know, when the PS4 rumors are coming out, you know, it's like, oh, the new God of War is going to take advantage of the PS4K. That was a game that was mentioned in the press meetings, like, you know, the rumors that came out, the leaks, you know, and it's like they're driving the point home that it's not going to make them obsolete, but yeah, it won't be obsolete, but how will it play, you know? So
there's a lot of people thinking that it'll work. Like Epi's amused by something.
Sorry, it's just like every
of...
time I like unmute my microphone or whatever, there's like moped going up the street, so I unmuted after the moped went past, and it's just started chucking it down.
It's okay, we can't hear that. A lot of people are thinking that because consoles are becoming more like PCs in how they work, that the way it'll work is like Gen 1 Xbox will run newer games on medium or low quality, and then the newer hardware will run it on the higher ultra, and so on and so forth, up until it's basically running like 5 versions.
I mean,
that a PC version would, and it's just like a simple port.
I mean, it's
Sorry.
Here's what interests me about, and here's where my optimism comes from with these now. You know, the optimism didn't exist when these rumors first started coming out, because, you know, like, I'm not someone who could just every 2 years just, you know, find it in me to just keep dropping $400 on something. You know, like, it takes me a long time to upgrade my PC. I don't bother until I can't run anything at all. So like, and I imagine that'll go the same way with the PS4. But here's my optimism about it, and I think it's really cool. And I mean, one, this shouldn't be an issue anymore anyway. Figure it the fuck out with backwards compatibility already. Like, we're in 2016. It shouldn't take this for me to go, yeah, backwards compatibility would no longer be an issue. It shouldn't have been a fucking issue in any of the 2000s. Like, just figure out a way to play the old games. But anyway, PS3 was another matter because of the architecture. And Xbox One, I don't know why they weren't backwards compatibility to begin with. But anyway, I think the idea of like iterative consoles going forward, all these things kind of have the same baseline architecture forever. You know, if they go it this way, instead of doing a new generation with new architecture, even if they do new generations, I imagine they would keep the same x86 architecture that is powering these consoles. It makes it so that these games don't split up. Like if you have Overwatch on PS4, you know, some of the reasons for not buying it on a console is that, like, on the PC, it will always be the PC. It will be around for 10 years, whatever. It's a Blizzard game. You know, it's one platform. On console, you know, the console might get left in the dust. It might not port it to PS5 or whatever. Or there might not be backwards compatibility. But with like iterative consoles, you have the PS4 and the PlayStation Neo. It's still a PlayStation 4 at heart, but it's still pushing better graphics, and you're being able to get new experiences from it as if you would a new gen in a way, maybe a smaller scale, but you'll still be able to play Overwatch, you know, and that community will stick. And if they keep building iterative consoles, and if it's still technically just a PlayStation now and not a PlayStation 5 or 6, it's just PlayStation, Overwatch's community will never leave the Sony atmosphere. So like, or any multiplayer game for that matter. It doesn't have to be Overwatch, you know, could be Plants vs Zombies or whatever. You know, those types of things excite me in a way because I can't stand games being left behind in the dust 2 generations. You know, multiplayer games on 360 or PS3 that I'd love to play. You know, like, what's the point? Because I gotta hook up my PlayStation 3. There might be like 50 dudes playing it in a fucking room in Bangladesh, and no one's playing these games anymore. But like the way, I can't stand generational leaps. I can't stand games being left behind. I can't stand worrying about backwards compatibility. So my one point of optimism is that this is the future of consoles, and you know, and you know, you might not have to buy them every time, but you know, every maybe 2 years after the upgrade or whatever. is the backwards compatibility issue being solved for multiplayer games, especially. But maybe we'll see though. Maybe it's interesting. We've never seen this before on console, so I'm very intrigued. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just thinking that if the NX has no cartridges, I hope that Nintendo has some sort of system where it knows what games you have been played.
He's flashing like it's broken.
He's been making some incredible points right now, and it's not coming through. He's spouting off some genius Bill Gates stuff.
It's coming through right now. I can see.
Is the stream still good?
The stream says it's still good. Bill's frozen in a weird image. I'm turning on the.
Either. It's like a slow motion like Zen state.
I'm watching him on the stream, and the stream's fine, but.
My video disappeared on the stream.
Right.
It's just a spinning circle. Now it's my AFK. Oh, now it's Kid Ross's and my AFK image. I wonder
Everyone can still hear you.
On the...
Well, that was wonderful fun, wasn't it, guys?
Are we back?
Can you not hear me again, please? Okay, I was going to say that if the NX goes discless, I hope that Nintendo has some super weird way of knowing what games you own, so that you can download Wii U games and it still works. But then I don't know how they'd actually deal with people being like, I own Splatoon, I'll get the free copy on the download and then sell it. The physical, so that someone else could get the digital. I don't know.
The future of consoles. Future of consoles are interesting. And what I'm mostly interested in seeing is, one, I want to see what these things look like. I want to see how they perform, but I'm really interested in seeing what they do to the existing consoles. I want to see what the PS4K does to the PS4. I want to see what the Scorpio does to the Xbox One. I want to see how much shittier it makes them look, if at all. If it's just like, you can play Gears or whatever Xbox, you can play Scalebound at 60 frames per second on the Scorpio, but it's 30 on Xbox One. That's not worth $400 to me, so, or however much it will be, presumably 400. And, and if that's the case, I'll wait for the next iteration. If the next iteration pushes it forward and even has some exclusive games, but it's still technically an Xbox One, you can play Xbox One games on it, that's fine. It's, I would have to imagine they would have to make this in the most, how do I put it? The most, they have to position it in a way that's not going to make everyone feel like they're getting fucked. So,
it's got to be worth buying the Scorpio, but also got to be worth still owning the original thing and not thinking I've got to sink $600 into this.
And it's the exact thing. I mean, I think Nintendo does a good job of it with their handheld iterations. I felt compelled to buy the new 3DS, but I never did, and I still play my 3DS fine. I don't feel left behind because games still come out for it. I mean, of course, there is the Hyrule Warrior situation, but that's a game I didn't have any interest in playing on handheld anyway.
You can still play that on. I don't know if this was the point, but you can play it on old 3DSs.
Yeah, it's just it
just runs like garbage.
I don't know. I've only got a new 3DS, so
there's the amount of enemies on screen is super reduced and the frame rate's really bad. But it's it's fine. I don't get that mad about it.
I mean, the handheld's always one gen backwards compatible.
Yeah,
isn't it?
That's the other thing is I would love to see this backwards compatibility issue just fucking solved already. And I know
I want to see solved fucking region locking. Stop that. Stop doing that right now.
We've done that. We're now in our own region.
Because
the region
I
of
would
the UK.
I would own a Japanese copy of Fire Emblem Fates 6 years ago
I
because
think
it came out so long ago in Japan.
It's mostly Nintendo that has a problem with that now.
I'm not
pretty
so
sure
sure.
I
PS4 is totally.
I don't even know anymore.
PS4 is region free 100%. Xbox, I don't think it matters. Well,
It's
no.
weird though because
the-
Nintendo went from okay, you can play any game that you want on your DS, but when it's a 3DS,
Yep.
we're going to region lock it for no reason. So I don't know.
Yeah, I've given up trying to keep track of who's region locked and who's not.
I Google Xbox
Hello, UCD.
ones
Breaking the immersion of the post.
or Xbox region locked. That's what I'm asking. Xbox One may be used in all countries. Xbox One games are
That's not,
not
that's not what it
region
means.
locked.
Really?
Apparently not.
I recall there being some
The thing
element
is,
of region
The
specificity.
thing is with Xbox is that they don't have like exclusive games that come out in Japan because no one buys Xboxes in Japan.
That's
So also hi UCD.
Yeah, I'm typically not too affected by region locking other than when there are... I don't mind stuff being kept in Japan for a while because I, as of yet, cannot read Japanese. It annoys me when America has a game for like 6 months and then we get it. It's like, well...
I actually
read
understand
English.
why that is now. It's because it gets localized through Nintendo of Europe as well as Nintendo Treehouse in North America. So
Yeah, I figured that there was some reason,
but I would
it
if,
still
if I
frustrates.
could choose to have the original unlocalized version of Fates so I can pet my characters, I'd do it. I don't have to understand the story. I know the story. I got the English version, but I really want to pet Jacob's face quite a lot. And Silas's
Maybe
face.
they'll,
There are a lot of
maybe
faces. I
they'll-
just want to
Maybe they'll bring it back with DLC.
maybe. Yeah,
Aside
that's
from all
basically
of,
what I'm doing.
Aside from all the hardware stuff, Xbox's games don't really interest me. That's one of the reasons I don't really care for buying one. You know, it's
There's one
Halo,
game that like
Gears.
really interested me from Xbox's conference, which was State of Decay 2.
State of Decay is a
Yes.
great game.
I really enjoyed what I played of State of Decay, but that game is really jank,
It's rough.
and apparently State of Decay 2 is going to have multiplayer, which I think will benefit that game
Very much.
substantially.
one
And
of the
Matt
chief
got so
complaints.
excited about it that he cried. So,
Hey, you know, video games.
Yeah, I don't remember much of... I remember the controllers. Have we got a
Those-
UK site
Those
for the controllers,
controllers
custom
are
controllers?
fantastic.
so cool. I want one
Fantastic.
because I need to. Hold on, do I have it anywhere? No. Okay, I don't. But basically, I have a 360 pad for my PC, and I've got chunks missing out of it, like out of the control sticks and stuff, because I've been using it for so long.
Do you want this one?
No, I've got one of those, but now I'm getting games that are like press.
Do you want one of
press
these?
I don't know what button it is. It's like a square in a square on the Xbox One pad.
Is it?
Yeah, it's saying to press that button. I don't have that button. So, yeah, it would be helpful to me if I could get one, and I would have hashtag #EbiSwag written on it. Get it all in pink. Get a swag controller. Cool as hell.
It is very tempting
Yeah.
because I have a box of controllers. They're all black. It's really hard to know which one's which. If one of them just had a bit of blue on it, a bit of white, then I'd know. That is the one that connects to the PC.
Yeah, PC
Yeah.
did, but
What else did they announce? 'Cause I'm
I
sure
am
there was something else that I was like
super-
relatively interested in.
I am super interested in the fact that the details of Dead Rising 4 after the conference is that it's a timed exclusive with Microsoft, which is super interesting
Oh.
because Dead Rising has been a Microsoft franchise forever.
Oh yeah, there was Dead Rising 4 and it looks more like Dead Rising 1 and
That feeling that when you're watching a conference and they want to show off the effects that are in the arena more than they want to show off the game, because it started snowing when they started the announcement for Dead Rising 4. I was like, what?
Yeah, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
All right, stop showing us the audience. I'm not in the audience. I don't care if they get snowed on. Show me the game. You're trying to immerse people
It's
in
the worst. And I literally don't understand, because the way it works is.
Oh, actually, can I make a formal apology an hour and 10 minutes into this stream?
Yeah.
Yes.
The VODs are now up of our live stream. Sony's is a bit jank because I had to edit it. Throughout every single conference, I bitched about people having crap audio levels between the people on stage and the actual gameplay. I realise now that because I had no way to listen, my audio levels were awful, and you can't hear most of what's being said in the conferences. You can mostly just hear us complaining about the audio. So I'm very sorry. Next time, I'll do better.
Well,
Thank you.
something special might happen next E3, so you never know what could happen.
We're gonna be
and
there.
what
We're gonna
technical
go to
difficulties we will have to
Hooters.
deal with when that happens.
PlayStation 5.
Yeah,
That's my goal.
There is
Every
actually a
year
Hooters not
that
too
we
far
do
from
E3.
my house, so
Is there?
the Hooters in Nottingham.
What a weird place.
Because
we
me
live in.
and my
Every
ethics
year,
class
my
were
goal.
like, should we go to Hooters as our goodbye party? We decided not to in the end because our ethics teacher didn't think it was very ethical. So
I think my goal for E3, now that I have been allowed into this community, is to change stuff up enough that stuff breaks again in a new way, so we can improve it next time with more ways to break it.
oh my
Until
God.
we reach the perfect E3. Has something broken
Ross.
again?
It's almost comedic perfection.
Can you not hear me?
No, we can hear
Can
you.
We can hear you. We can hear
Can
you.
you not hear me?
It's just almost
Okay.
comedic perfection as you sit there and go like, oh, I can't wait to break it in a new way, and like, and like went all robotic, like at that very moment.
I won't have that audio, but I would like to hear it, please, later on. Thank you very much.
Anyway, yes, we. We'll definitely. Okay.
It's more Bill's impression of it than the actual thing happening.
Anyway,
Yeah.
anyway, I was interested in Scalebound, but I'm not sure how I feel about it after seeing it a bit.
I don't think it's that
This
good.
year. Last year I was interested in some things, and then this year was seeing more of those things and then losing all interest in the things that I was interested in.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I think the worst thing about Xbox's conference was after being initially. I mean, I'm still hyped for this game. I think it's gonna be great. I think they also remedied their bad demo of it. Was that shit demo they showed at Final Fantasy 15 where that guy could barely play the game? Like,
Did you then watch Squeenix's, like, they didn't do a conference, but they did like a series of live streams. They got that guy back on to redo the demo and not suck. That was his goal.
that was so bad, dude.
But they still didn't announce Sleeping Dogs 2, so...
No Red Dead Redemption 2 either.
That is my biggest sadness. What?
I kind of didn't think we'd see it because they don't need to show it at E3.
No.
Me neither.
And it just
Like I
gets
say,
sort
it
of,
comes
I
out
guess
next
it
year.
would get sort of lost in the shuffle a little bit.
I was
Because
expecting
a
it.
lot of stuff got announced, but I don't know if anything as big as...
I was expecting it during Sony's conference, like the last thing, but it was just more Days Gone. But we'll get into Sony in a little bit.
I keep wanting to call that game Days
Days Gone By.
Days Gone By.
Gays Done By.
Days Gone By because of the
Yeah.
episode of The Walking Dead, but I just fucked that up completely.
Also because that's what the phrase is, Days Gone By. No one says Days Gone.
Well,
Yeah, it's
no,
night
it's
time
Days
now,
Gone
thanks.
By,
Days Gone.
as in bye-bye. You okay there, Bill?
Oh yeah, I'm great. Ubisoft.
Oh.
I got
Right.
to watch a little bit of Ubisoft. Wait, what's up, Kinross?
I was going to say, in Ubisoft, am I allowed to comment on the Orlando stuff in context with Ubisoft?
If you'd like.
So they
I don't know if you should do it after my accidental trip up over my words. Yeah.
Oh, God. I'd forgot about that. But they started with a musical number with a giant giraffe, panda, lion thing. Going, yeah, Just Dance 2017, coming, the first game announced for the NX.
False statement, by the way.
And then immediately cut to Aisha Taylor giving her speech about how awful the Orlando stuff is, whilst there's a giant giraffe man in the background. Why not start with the condolences and then move into the dance?
And then make everybody happy. Yeah, by giraffes dancing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Instead, it just looked incredibly tacky.
Well, as
I honestly felt like
typically are.
all of E3 was like just everyone trying to top one another, because EA didn't have anything. They didn't have the ribbons on, and then Bethesda had the ribbons on, so everyone had to have the ribbons on.
Well, that's
then
on people got on EA's back. That is literally because it happened like 20 minutes before EA's conference. They had no time for it whatsoever. And then Bethesda had like several hours, and they were like, "We're gonna get some ribbons."
What else happened?
Microsoft said nothing, but they wore the ribbons.
No, Microsoft said something at the beginning, I think.
Did they?
I think it was just like a brief, we'd like to offer our condolences and whatever. And then, like, Ubisoft did the dance, and then Sony, I think, said something, and then Nintendo, on top of mentioning the Orlando shooting, also mentioned the shooting of Christina Grimmie. So it was just like, everyone was just trying to one-up each other on the, like, I don't know, scale of how much we care about the real world.
We care. Yeah.
But
it was weird.
it made sense for Nintendo to mention her, at least, because she was supposed to be there and she was a huge Zelda fan, so...
So aside from that, I actually didn't mind the games Ubisoft showed.
I don't remember.
Eagle Flight.
I remember the one that we had to cut. Eagle
For
Flight.
Honor looks rad.
The dude who fucking For Honor guy. I love that guy. I
He's
want him to just
amazing.
make everything, because I just want his enthusiasm when things are announced.
It helps. Like, I'm already interested in the game, you know, because I like Chivalry a lot, but it did have some jank. It was an indie game, and For Honor is like a AAA game, and like, you know, the one-on-one duels look fantastic. It reminds me of like what I love about the Dark Souls and Bloodborne PvP, when it's like a one-on-one fight and it's just really tight melee, like encounters, and it feels great. And so like when I watched the duels in For Honor, like, you know, like getting that against another opponent and then having a whole game based around that, it's like, man, that's fucking badass. And the fact that it's a single player campaign looks badass. The combat looks great. I mean, the idea of Vikings fighting samurais and vice versa and all that stuff it has me excited, because I like that stuff.
I don't know whether the stuff, I don't really remember much, but I was interested in For Honor last year. It was like something that I wanted to know more about. And then this year, I don't know whether it's purely in the single player thing, or it's how the combat works. But I don't like, it's not QTE, but it looks like QTE. And it's like this massive little graphic. It's like, you need to point your right stick down in this way and press A now. I don't like that.
Imagine,
and it has put me off the game.
I imagine a lot of that's probably single player stuff. I'd imagine they wouldn't be having QTEs up for the multiplayer modes. I think it would be strange. I think what I mean, like, again, I could be wrong. I mean, I haven't played it, obviously. I imagine like it might be somewhat of like a tutorial showing you what you can do with like the stick and with the fights. And I imagine in multiplayer, it's up to you to use those movements on your own. Because the multiplayer footage we saw,
it just means that I won't touch it for a fair while.
So we'll see. I'm buying it mostly for the multiplayer anyway, because I want to fight dudes and get mad. But yeah, so it was a nice surprise over getting single player. I'm interested in it. The guy's enthusiasm gets me hyped up more.
Yeah.
Then we had Wildlands.
He's just so manly and gruff. He's great.
Which was the new Ghost Recon game, which is open world Metal Gear Solid 5 / The Division / Bango Toki Bogey down 12 o'clock, get on my 6 baby type stuff.
I think this game looked cool, but by the time it comes out, I'm not gonna care. I'm like, oh yeah, we could buy this game and we could play it together. By the time it comes out, I won't buy it. I'll be like, I got to deal with you play. No.
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
There's South Park.
couldn't care less.
hold on. Oh
Uh-oh.
no. Not again.
What?
No,
No,
not
it's
again.
fine. I'm telling you, it's fine.
Not again.
They can hear you. I can hear you.
Nice.
I feel like we're hearing sentences from the distant past.
Right, I'm on the phone to you now.
All right,
Can you
I'm
get
on the
me?
phone to you now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Everyone can hear you.
Everyone
Everyone
can hear you.
me. I can
Everyone
hear
can
me
hear
too.
me.
It's
I can hear
really
me
weird.
too. It's
I'm in
really
on the call
weird.
to myself.
I'm in on the call to myself.
Wait,
Distant
are you...
past.
It's probably sounding.
Are you on your phone?
I'm on Skype on the phone. Why is
Oh
it
my
in my
God.
face?
No, but dude, your video is in like this
sorry.
weird, like video game, like FMV type thing where like you walk into a room in a video game and there'd be like a broadcast on the screen, but it's like so low quality and like the person is just doing the same motion over and over again in slow motion. Like you're just rocking back and forth at points, like just.
Okay. I'm gonna have to hang up because I'm sure this sounds awful on the stream.
Well,
But
well, before.
oh, it's fine now. It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, I think it's fine.
Oh no.
The stream looks perfect. It's really strange, actually.
I don't know how to hang up
I
on.
don't know how to hang up on the phone. There we go.
Just
Bye,
press
me.
the red button.
I couldn't find the red button. Oh, Ebby's
I think
gone
it
now.
might be happening
Jesus
again.
Christ.
Oh no. This is what happens when you're like, Ebby, can you host the call?
Anyway,
Right.
South Park.
Apparently
Do you
my
want to switch
video's
host?
gone now.
Oh yeah, that happened to me before. Mine went like bye.
Yeah,
It's
just
back
down-
now.
Oh yeah.
Kinross is laughing as if he's talking to us, but I can't hear him at all.
Just locked in this. Oh, my video's gone now in the stream. It's certainly the most eventful episode of the Permadeath podcast we've ever had.
Technical
Can you hear me now?
the episode.
It's a great way to return. It's a great way to say we're back. Oh, my video's back on the stream now. Kinross is talking on the stream. I don't have it unmuted, but he's talking. He's reaching back for his Zuzu phone. Oh no, it wasn't his Zuzu phone. It was his phone, his actual phone. Now he's texting 911.
I heard him for a minute there.
Oh, there's his voice.
Oh, do we
Oh,
want to
what?
switch host? Oh,
Will
there
that
you go
will
again.
that will that interrupt the stream and mess up the VOD?
Yes, that will mess it up.
Nope.
It will mess up the stream momentarily, but if he puts it on the AFK screen, then it won't mess it up.
That would be ideal.
Okay, so we will be right back. Very sorry, everyone. And we will be right back. All right.
All right. I'm eating a hard candy. If I
Hello,
choke,
everyone. We're
if I
back.
choke at any moment during the
Oh.
rest of this show,
I can't help you. Like, I'm just gonna have to watch you die.
if I get really into,
We're gonna live stream. I'll switch it to the AFK image so that at least the stream won't have to see.
Man
Anyway.
They'll
dies
just see
while
like a
filming
squid bill.
on YouTube.
so Ubisoft had South Park.
Yes.
Looks funny. It's South Park. I mean, I never played Stick of Truth. Admittedly, I'm not the
Did you
biggest.
buy it? Because if you pre-order it, if you pre-order the new one, you get free. So
That's what I'll be doing most likely if I ever decide to buy it in the next year.
Or you pay like $3 and you get it for PC right now.
That's true too. Then I'm actually interested in Watch Dogs 2. I think tone goes a long way for me, and I think Watch Dogs 1
What
had
tone?
this.
The tone where it's like you're not a gunman, but
think
you're gonna have
it's a bit
guns, and we're gonna be a super sneaky hacker with a giant dead mouse
I think
head.
it seemed a little bit
That
more
tone?
upbeat than Watch
That's what I
Dogs
mean.
1.
It's not as like I'm gonna get revenge because I'm Batman, and I think it has a much more bright feel to it. I like the West Coast setting. It borrows a lot from Mr. Robot, which Mr. Robot borrows a lot from hacker culture, and I think while it's got a bit on the nose, I think I gotta spit this candy out. Hold on, I can't talk.
On that real
That didn't
fast.
last long.
I think it goes a long way for me to get me interested, and I don't know. I'm interested. See what they do.
It feels like a bit like compared the tone of The Walking Dead to Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
In a way. At least the first season of Fear the Walking Dead. I don't know what happens in season 2.
They probably scared.
Probably zombies
some
happen.
walkers.
But we want
They're not
zombies,
zombies.
we'll call them walkers. What else did Ubisoft do? Andy was really interested in
the Assassin's Creed movie.
VR Star Trek thing, which
Oh yeah.
was cool because they
If I liked
had-
Star Trek, I'd be
They
interested.
had
in that.
Geordie LaForge there, and that made me really happy because when he put the VR headset on, we were like, "Oh my god, he's like his character in Star Trek because he wears the like thing because he's blind."
Spoilers! I didn't know he was blind.
It's not really a spoiler; it's just a character trait.
Oh, I thought that he was just like permanently in VR land or
No,
something.
he's blind.
Oh. Well, then why is he wearing a visor?
Does Geordie?
Is it like
How do you spell Geordie LaForge? How do you spell LaForge?
riveting game talk? L.A. Forge.
C with his visor. Yes.
Nice build up.
Yes.
No, he had
Okay.
micro implants
Yeah.
in his eyes, allowing him to see without. No, that's a spoiler. That is actually a spoiler. Sorry.
Without his thing, you were gonna say without his
No, I
thing.
mean, without his eyes, he can't see. Never mind. He was born blind anyway.
I mean, most people can't see without their eyes.
I fucked it up. I fucked it up. I've ruined E3 for everyone. Let's just go
Steep.
home.
Steep. I'm interested in Steep.
Did you see how awful the textures were in Steep?
Yeah, I don't care though. Because I get to snowboard.
They looked awful. From what I hear, it doesn't play
I'm
particularly
gonna
well.
buy it anyway because I like to snowboard.
Wait at least a week, for the love
I'm
of
gonna buy
God.
that game day 0 because I love snow.
God.
I'm gonna
Just,
buy that game.
Just buy,
Buy Sean
No.
White snowboarding for the
if
Wii.
you buy an N64, you could get 1080 snowboarding. Is that what it's called? Sure.
Something like that, yeah.
I don't
Then
know.
there was Trials of the Blood Dragon, which looks interesting. I like Trials, and
Oh god, the fucking
apparently also
way that
doesn't
they
work
introduced that game was so awkward. So awkward.
Everything that Ubisoft did was awkward. It was their 30th birthday, apparently, even though they didn't make their first game until 20
then
years
there
ago.
was the Assassin's Creed movie.
Which, the more I watch, the less interested I feel. Yeah.
Which is
Here's the
impressive,
problem.
because you weren't interested at all.
That first trailer. What? What the fuck?
Straight
with the music choice going a long way to make me disinterested in your presentation of the movie. Like
Yeah, what does Space Oddity have to do with anything?
They have that's Call of Duty. They have this like cool shot, and they go a long way visually to make it look like Assassin's Creed, and then like it's like cool, maybe this will be interesting for Assassin's Creed fans. A brand new story, a brand new assassin, brand new setting, Spanish Inquisition, all this stuff. I mean, like, oh man, like all this stuff, and then you hear like, if I was God, if I was like, what the fuck? What the hell? Why is Kanye West in the trailer? Like, what the fuck?
Maybe he is the High Templar.
Yeah,
I'm just like so done with Assassin's Creed as a franchise, because the way that Ubisoft just, I know I'm still bringing this up years later, but the way that they were just like, oh, Connor has fans, well, we're gonna just brush them aside and not really answer any questions about his future. We're not gonna pretend like we made the game as if there was gonna be a sequel at one point. We're just gonna put that away, put that aside.
Will there be a game of the movie?
I don't know.
Every time Bill pulls a face, I don't know what's going on. Oh, for God's sake.
We're fine though.
Keep going. We can still hear you. It's fine.
It's just robotics.
Oh.
Okay.
Anyway, in terms of Ubisoft, I don't really care about talking anything else they've done. We've covered it. We've covered the things we like and are interested in.
So basically, I just sat here and went, "Yep."
Pretty much.
Next, the final one. Not counting PC. I actually watched the PC conference and that was boring. But anyway, Sony.
Oh my god!
Garbage.
The Last Guardian.
Sony had another good press
Still
conference
looks.
this year.
I don't like it.
Don't like what the conference or
The Last Guardian. I don't like the Guardian's design. I hope that it is actually the last one, and that I can do everything I can to make sure that the Last Guardian dies.
Wow.
That thing's an abomination. It's an abomination.
But
it's like some weird cat, dog, bird, beast.
They've been talking big about the Last Guardian, though. Like,
of course
the
they
director's
have.
been like, nah, they're not going to be disappointed after all this wait. In fact, they're going to be impressed. Like,
I'm going to be
imagine-
disappointed.
I imagine it'll be a great game. I mean, in terms of like,
but will it be a great game to justify the 10-year wait that people have had for it?
probably not.
Question.
Probably not. Nothing can ever live up to that kind of wait. No game can.
Did you see the special edition? Oh my god.
No. Does it come with a Guardian?
Yeah, it came with it came with the statue of the Guardian, and I was like, dude, if I had money, I would probably buy that. Just guessing.
Would you though? Because you've not even played Ico or Shadow of the Colossus.
No,
You don't even
but
know
the
if you like
Guardian
their
is
kind of
cute,
game.
And I really like the Guardian because it's like a dog and a bird.
I'll tell you what is cute.
Or I
I've had
would buy it
I've had some of the new
on the off
Pokemon
chance.
spoiled for me. Some of the new Pokemon are
You should have
adorable.
fucking fish.
I don't care about the fish. I want that little hummingbird with the four weird legs that aren't legs. That thing's amazing.
Yeah.
I want it.
But with the Last Guardian, I would have probably picked up a version of the special edition had I been able to, because that thing sold out quickly. So one day it's probably going to be worth a shit ton of money. So
I don't know. My
It's a
Pip-Boy's worth
shame.
nothing
It
now that
was
they've made
like
a
a-
Bluetooth one.
it was like a £250 pre-order though. So
You can get 2 copies of Full Metal Alchemist for that.
Fire Emblem.
I said Full Metal.
Honestly, the biggest thing for me was Last Guardian, and then Horizon Zero Dawn, because I still think that game looks cool.
Yeah. Sony had a good conference. I think the way they opened it, I think was really impressive to me. I'm a God of War fan. I like God of War, and I think it. I don't think the announcement lost its impact due to it leaking for the most part. It being Norse mythology and Kratos wearing pants and him having an axe and all that stuff was leaked with the concept art
And a
but their
beard.
leaks and a beard. And it's like when the announcement started, when the music started, and when like the demo like came on screen, and it was like a kid in the snow, and I was so obviously Norse. Like I'm like, well, it's God of War, and I think you're supposed to not know maybe until Kratos revealed himself, but still,
I mean, I didn't know. I just thought that it was some weird snow kid
game. I'm. Some people are well, not a lot of people are skeptical. God of War fans are.
A lot of people are skeptical because it's gone open world. And
well, it's not
like
open
that.
world. It is.
It looked
at the
what they
presentation,
didn't like.
but it isn't. They came out during their press demos and things, the press interviews. It's not open world. It is just a continuous cut. There are no loading screens. There are no cutscenes. You kind of go. It's kind of. I would imagine levels are open like The Last of Us's levels are open, and that they're a big level in that like you can go corner to corner and explore it and find secrets and stuff. But it isn't like let me go back to town and get some potions, or let me go back to town and rest my Kratos body. What has me excited is like they didn't just go let's make God of War 4 and stick to what we know and stick to not an isometric view but that action camera view that's in every God of War game, slinging the chains and slashing Hydra heads and being really angry. We have a really interesting take, almost what a lot of people have said, and when I was watching the demo being presented, I looked at it and I go, "That's The Last of Us," because like Sony has taken like this approach where like a lot of their games are like, "Yeah, let's make them really grown up and adult," and you have Kratos escorting a kid across fucking Norse lands, fighting monsters, who doesn't clearly maybe. We're not sure what his feelings are, but is it his real kid? Is it his actual kid? I know he mentions the kid's mother, but is this somebody's life he entered, like Joel and Ellie, or is it his actual kid or whatever? And you have him like trying to be a good parent, getting angry. You see his rage meter full fill. He's teaching the kid how to do stuff, and it's obviously going to be a really emotional journey with him and the kid. And it's an interesting take for God of War. I'm excited about it. It looks beautiful. The combat looks great. It's interesting. It's over the shoulder. It's not, like I said, action camera. And I am very interested in it. I'm very excited.
I gave up on 3. And after seeing the God of War, just God of War, I guess it is, isn't it? I was like, I'll see how far from the end I actually was in 3. I was 2 chapters away. I was maybe an hour away from finishing that game. But now I have to start over.
Do you not enjoy God of War? Kiddos?
I enjoyed it. I got to the labyrinth in 3 and I was just done. I couldn't do any more. I got lost in the labyrinth. God damn it!
So you didn't like start hating the game. You just got stuck, huh?
Oh, I started hating the game because I got stuck. I spent like an hour trying to get to the next point. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So, bye. I'll sell you now. And then they did this.
The presentation was cool. With the live orchestra synced up with the game. I think was.
They did that for all of the games that were there, didn't they? Pretty much.
Apparently, I thought that they were
they
literally
did.
doing it just for God of War.
Yeah,
but they were saying that.
There was one part where the lady singer started like just making sounds though. I literally don't know what game this is, and I really don't know what it is now that she's started doing things. I have no idea.
We were making guesses as like the instrumentals were building up, and we're like, is it this? Is it this? Is it this? And then it's like, this has no bearing on anything I know.
Because I think
it's
we're
God of
like,
War.
oh my god, what is it? No, it's not.
It sounds a bit like The Last of Us or Uncharted, but Last Guardian maybe? No. Why would The Last Guardian have this woman?
I think we were like pretty convinced that it was The Last Guardian until the lady came on and we were like, no, maybe not. So.
No.
So, aside from that, we had a lot of PlayStation VR stuff.
I cannot wait
it was
to
more...
just be done with this VR stuff because I'm not interested in the slightest.
I am am excited for it.
I'm interested.
I messed about with some of the VR, not all of it. I messed about with some of it at my friend's house, and I'm interested in what they could do with it in the future. I've heard good things about the Vive. I haven't used the Vive. I hear that's the best one. I hear it is. The tracking is great. The experiences are great with it, but
I want to skip the next year or two of VR news and development because it's just so much. This is better. This is better. You should do this. There's the Oculus exclusivity, which sucks. I just want to get that bit over and done with, and just be like, VR's a thing that's great now. Let's have some fun.
I'm just quite claustrophobic, so the idea of putting on one of the headsets and then putting, in addition to something over my eyes, something over my ears as well. That freaks me out a little bit too much.
The idea of it freaks me out, but so long as I'm not playing a claustrophobic game, I should be okay.
My cousin gets really nauseous when he puts one of them on and uses it for like a good half hour. So I imagine it'll have certain effects on certain people. It is disorienting, I would say, especially when you take it off and you're in this world for a good like half hour. When you take it off, you're like, oh, I'm in my small ass fucking room. That's fucking right. And you're all dizzy. But
okay.
But I'm interested. I think one of the biggest. What's up?
I was gonna say that my thing was that Oculus have put their crappy DRM thing on that stops Vive. I'm gonna keep going because the stream knows fine.
It's fine.
And
fine.
apparently
we can hear you.
they've fixed that.
Breaking up a little.
Are you sure I'm breaking up? I have a little bit of a rough throat, so I could actually sound like an actual robot right now.
Do you have like an actual little robot in your throat? Because
yes,
I'm a little sick.
It's a little robot.
Please don't mind me. Anyway, I think my favorite announcement that came from the Sony
I'm being assimilated, you see.
Which came from the VR little presentation, was the Resident Evil announcement, and from somebody who has had Resident Evil in his life for so many years, I haven't beaten every game myself, but me and my dad have been so involved in those games, and I've watched him play them, I've played them myself, and the Resident Evil games have always been a good addition to my house, except until lately, they've been quite shit, and getting the news last year of the Resident Evil 2 remake, and that's my favorite, and as it is many others, and seeing this horror game, be presented at the end of the VR presentation, I'm watching it. I got to watch Sony conference with my friends, and we're watching it, like, oh man, it's cool, like VR is a great vehicle for horror games. It's the first person horror craze kicked on pretty well for YouTubers, and just in general, I think those games, and people saw how hungry people were for it with PT, and how excited people were for Silent Hills, and like first person horror is probably one of the best ways to make it scary nowadays. It's not the only way, but it is a great time for it. And I think with VR coming out, like, man, like that's perfect vehicle for it, scare the shit out of you with VR. And so when they were showing this game, we're watching, like, this looks great, this is perfect. I've been waiting for like a AAA horror game to get announced. There's some on like the Samsung Gear, which is a mobile game called like Dreadhall or some stupid shit. It's like an Amnesia clone, but there hasn't been any announced that are like, this is made by a big developer. And this entire presentation, the music's picking up, like, this looks good. What is this? And then the screen goes black, and then the 7 pops up, and then the typography is so great. The Resident Evil name fills in, and all my friends are Resident Evil fans as well. And we just look at each other like, fuck, like that blew me away.
Oh, I remember this one.
I was so hyped.
This was the one where I was like this, wasn't it? The entire time. I was just like, nope. Nope.
That was, and
so that's my view.
It's an announcement that has a lot of people divided, because a lot of people, for some reason, like what they've been doing with Resident Evil, and they feel like this is maybe too much of a departure than even 4 was. But it's been confirmed that a lot of everyone's favorite elements of Resident Evil are coming back. Herbs are coming back. There's combat. There's puzzles. There's first aid sprays. There's whatever. It takes place after Resident Evil 6. It is not a reboot. It just takes the game into a first-person perspective, which I think is a welcome change to Resident Evil, because the way Resident Evil has gone through 5 and 6, I actually enjoyed 5. I didn't hate 5. I played a co-op with my dad. 6 was a straight-up like fucking Gears of War game set in the Resident Evil universe. And it's like, I don't want that. I want to be scared playing Resident Evil, and there's nothing wrong with them changing their perspective. I think people going, well, it's not Resident Evil, it doesn't feel like Resident Evil. Well, you know what, neither did the last game that you all hate it so much. So everyone's been clamoring for them to return back to scaring them. And I played the demo. The demo did scare me a lot, and albeit the demo was a bit short, I'm so excited for them.
So does it? Because a lot of people were saying that because it's being shown in the VR section, that it's not going to work quite as well. It is
a game. It is a first-person horror game with VR support. They showed it at the VR presentation as a way of like, look, here's a AAA game that you can play 100% in VR. The VR version's visuals are downgraded a bit. The game is made primarily for like PS4, like regular PS4 without VR, because the game is also going to be on Xbox One and PC. Xbox One right now doesn't have VR. So it's developed with that in mind, but it does have VR support, and you can't play the whole game in VR. I just probably would not until I see what the visuals actually look like. I did hear some bad things about the way it performed in VR from some press impressions and stuff, but in terms of what this game offers for fans of Resident Evil and being scared again, I'm so excited for it. I was over the moon for that announcement. I was super, super happy with that. That was my favorite thing from Sony. We also got Spider-Man from Insomniac.
Yay.
People keep saying that there was a Spider. I have no memory of there being a Spider-Man.
It was a pretty
game.
hype announcement because we haven't had a good Spider-Man game since Spider-Man 2 on like the Xbox. I got confused for a minute when I saw the developer pop up and I saw it was Insomniac. I for some reason confused them with Sucker Punch, who make the infamous games, and I was initially like, oh damn, fuck yeah, like because Sucker Punch does the infamous games so well. I love those games, and like they're really great open world superhero games. And I didn't realize
what do Insomniac do?
And but then I realized Insomniac also did Sunset Overdrive, which is another open world, wacky, crazy powers traversal fun game, and I'm super excited for this. Spider-Man, I like Spider-Man a lot, and I think there's a lot of potential in a really good open world Spider-Man game. Presumably it's open world.
Can I interrupt for a second to just tell Kinross that the Pokemon that he was referencing earlier has an English name now and is called Cutie Fly.
I don't like it quite so much anymore. That's a stupid name. But I want a plush of it.
It's cool.
Because it'll have the little dangly legs. It'll be
No,
amazing.
they just don't give a shit with names anymore. Cutie Fly.
I'm curious. There's that one that is a pun of like electric train bug thing in Japanese, and I want to know how that works in English. It's the one that looks like a cube.
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah. So,
I'm excited.
we'll see in November or October or whenever it is.
Oh, they have names now. Sorry.
Breaking news.
Sorry, you carry on talking, because I've got to skip through this video.
We also got a new IP from Sony Bend, who did the Uncharted Vita game, Days Gone, which is an open world zombie game with bikers.
Couldn't care less. Oh, this is the one that I thought was Right to Hell Retribution 2.
Wait,
This is
what one with the bikers?
This is a Days Gone.
Days Gone.
This is a game that I knew was coming because it was leaked. But the title was different. It was leaked as a game called Dead Don't Ride.
That's a much better name.
So I'm interested in the game
Because you could.
but it looks a little jank. It looks like it doesn't perform well. And I can understand it's early in the games. Well, it's early and there's so many zombies on screen. It's like Dynasty Warriors. So I mean, I don't really have much of an opinion on it though, to be honest. I mean, it's we'll see. Another super serious post-apocalyptic game from a Sony first-party studio, much like The Last of Us. We'll see if it what it's fully dependent on for me is this is a whole zombie fatigue thing and everything, and zombies. If the open world,
I feel like the one interesting thing about that was just, I mean, you can't. I'd rather call them like the water type fluidity of the horde, because they moved less like a pack of things and more like a ton of water particles that were just very big and zombie shaped.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of World War Z and Cabaneri. Like the way they move in hordes, is just so Nunerous, was that? Nunerous, was that? Did you do that
Can you say
yourself?
that again?
Say what again?
What the fuck was that? You're
Oh,
being
I don't
possessed.
know.
He was being possessed by a
You mean
by a
like
cabane. so so satanic.
Slowly. Why did it take you
sick
so long to
already,
react? I
Nunerous,
did that, and then
I'm
like
sure,
10
dude.
seconds later, you're like, "What is this?
Down
The
with-
lag
down
must be
with the
so
devil.
real."
If you
Leave.
can hear as it's happening again.
Yeah, I'm doing it. All right. Why are you? Okay. Apparently. All right. The stream is dying.
Oh my god!
We need to
Your
turn this on.
actual voice. Okay.
Well, Nunerous, I think it's like on a lag of delay where like you're doing it and then it's like happening later. Anyway,
Yeah. Okay.
if
We
anything,
are on,
it's not
like,
even
the
sad
biggest
that there's been any
delay.
difficulties because it creates some really great spontaneous moments.
It does explain to me why I've been getting slightly frustrated because I've been talking and people don't shut up. They keep talking. And it's apparently because there's a massive lag between myself and Ebby and Bill. So I'm really sorry if it's been really bad.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. I'm just not going to talk. Guys, carry on. Stream's all yours.
Hi, Nunerous.
This is the best episode ever made. So, apart from those, I mean, Sony. I liked Sony's stream a lot. I thought the Crash Bandicoot announcement was kind of a slap. Like the remastering of the first few Crash Bandicoot games, and then it's like, hey, it was also in Skylanders. That's the big announcement. People got so hyped up when he walked out the Crash Shadow.
Is it a remaster of Crash or is it a...
It's a remaster of the first three.
Okay.
I'm not sure what they're doing to them exactly. If they're just cleaning them up or if they're doing stuff with them. We shall see.
Can I go
But
back to the breaking Pokemon news for a second, though?
Yeah.
Because I did get Kinross's name for the square bug thing, and it's called Charger Bug.
Oh boy.
I don't know if he's just taking his headphones off and he's done with us, or if he just...
He's reached
His camera's
he's reached
frozen? Because
he's reached
he's real still.
It's the state of Zen. Like that's what he's just meditating so still that his heart rate is slowed down, and he's just look at that. That's perfect.
Yeah, I think he's frozen because
That's
he's moving on. Oh, no, there he goes.
That's meditation.
Oh. He's shaking his head.
It's funny as I narrate his Zen state on the stream. He's moving on the stream, so he's not. Even...
Did you laugh?
God. We also got Death Stranding from Kojima as he walked down on
Why
his
people are excited about this game. I have no fucking clue.
and his Heaven's Bridge on the stage. Like here comes God.
He was out of time. All right, he moved too fast.
Oh, he was out of time.
I like I'm interested to see what Kojima does because the man is interesting to me and I'm interested in his games. I just never really got into Metal Gear Solid. I feel like I missed a boat and I can't get into Metal Gear Solid 1 because I think the controls are jank and I don't want to play it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I tried and I can't. So it's one of those things where I feel like I missed the boat, and I'm interested in what the man does in terms of what he does with this game because I think he has a really interesting mind when it comes to making his games. I think his stories are so wacky, but there's something about the trailer of Death Stranding that's just so parody of Kojima. Like Kojima's so weird. Look at this. I mean, there's fucking Norman Reedus with a umbilical cord, like standing up, and like there's three like godlike figures in the distance, all ominous and like.
My favorite edits have been people just putting Kojima's face on those things in the sky.
And like the trailer was very metaphorical too. As I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, like this baby is clearly Silent Hills, and like this is Kojima cutting the cord and like moving on, and like there's the three overlords, and that's maybe Konami watching him like, you motherfucker, and Norman Reedus is real defiant, and I don't know what the hell the game's gonna be about. There's nothing you could tell from that trailer at all. Aside from that, it's weird.
Nah.
And
I
Norman
don't know
Reedus,
why people are excited, apart from Kojima game.
I think that's the only reason. I mean, other than that, the context of the trailer and like I think the reveal of Norman Reedus was kind of cheesy. Like it was Norman Reedus again. And it's like it kind of took me out of it a bit, where it's like, oh, there's Norman Reedus naked.
I was like, yeah, Daryl Dixon. Yeah.
Like Daryl Dixon's butt, and like there's a baby connected to him, and it's like, okay, we'll see. But other than that, I thought Sony had a good conference, but in terms of noteworthy things to talk about, Resident Evil, God of War, Death Stranding was interesting, Spider-Man, Last Guardian, Crash Bandicoot. I think we kind of covered it. There was that piece of shit Final Fantasy 15 VR demo that was like, why is that even a thing? Like,
because
so
VR
weird.
and Final Fantasy popular, so I guess we're going to do it.
Dumb half-assed thing. But anyway, since we can't figure this out,
You okay, Kinross?
I'm grand.
Oh, he's back, I think.
What do you mean I'm back? I've been here the entire time. I've been waiting for the lag to end. I've been like a Norman. Oh, flippity gibbet! I don't care anymore.
E3.
Have you just put your image on the Norman Reedus thing, holding the car?
It's a beautiful.
That's my AFK image. This is clearly falling apart in terms of Skype. You can't hear me. The lag is awful. We have some things to work on for future live streams, for sure.
Maybe let in Discord get a video conference option.
Basically, because I wasn't talking through all of that Sony thing, I didn't care about any of it. Couldn't care
worked out then.
any less.
It worked out
about Kojima or Days Gone or any of that.
Days Gone made me want a proper Walking Dead game that isn't a Telltale game, which is fine in its own right, or the Walking Dead Survival Instinct. I'll say that much, because that game wasn't good.
You know, apparently I should have complained about the state of Skype earlier, because it seems to have completely fixed itself on my end, in the sense that we're no longer talking over each other. I probably still sound like a robot, which I was half doing myself, by talking like this, and you were like, Satan! Bill has frozen. Oh no, he hasn't.
No, Bill's just real still.
He's in a state of zen.
Sniper-esque abilities.
So maybe we'll work on this, and then we'll do like a proper Permadeath episode sometime soon.
Where I can talk about all the games that I've actually played since February, without people giving me a weird look. And Fire Emblem.
Oh!
And we can bring out the bloody Zoozaphone that I've been learning.
Can you just join Matt's stream and just play Lost in Thoughts all alone?
What?
No, because he's in a chat that I cannot join.
No.
Also, I don't know that one very well. Is that the Fates one?
Yeah. You are
I haven't practiced that one
oceans,
enough yet.
grey waves. Not great waves, grey waves.
Yeah, I can't do
We
that.
gotta talk about Uncharted, Kinross, and I gotta talk about
The Division.
I think he just pulled his cord out of his microphone.
Jesus Christ, Bill! Over. I saw you put the hand on the back. I'm like, no, that's where the cable lives. Just goes, thump. You are Norman Reedus. Congratulations.
This is like a whole episode.
I feel like this is actually in keeping, though, with how Permadeath stuff goes.
Yeah.
E3 had its flaws. This has its flaws. But it is undeniably
Permadeath podcast.
Bill's making out with his pop filter now.
I'm.
I think that Bill would like us to stop. I have actually been trying to wrap this.
He's
Jesus
like-
Christ.
You can't keep him for too long.
It's like
He
nuzzling
starts
it.
getting bored.
No, I'm here.
This is why we don't normally do video, because when it's audio, you can't see that he's nuzzling against the pop filter.
Yeah, no, we could do a great episode about everything we've been playing, and there's a lot, actually.
We could do it right now, after this. Except we couldn't. That's a lie.
What?
It's like
You said things, it's just I was paying attention to what Bill was doing with his pop filter for some reason. Just like he phased out. Because you were just like adjusting it to like perfection, and I was really curious about how you were gonna go about it, so I just didn't listen to what Kinross said apparently.
Anyway.
Can we end this?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I finished some anime. I'm doing really great.
Good. Maybe we'll talk about it in episode 26. This is episode 25 of the Permadeath podcast, by the way.
Wait,
Welcome.
Are you sure? It says episode 24 in the
Yep.
title.
Does it?
Wish-
You son of a bitch!
That's the best.
I can change
What?
that
It
later. I'm
is
pretty
episode
sure it's
24.
25.
No.
What?
It's 24, it's
No.
24.
No!
Episode
Oh,
23.
okay.
You might be like confusing like the Palcan video, the Star Fox video, and the E3 streams.
Oh,
being
yeah,
episodes.
we'll blame that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
that other content we had in between.
We have been doing some content, yes.
This has been episode 24 of the Permadeath podcast.
Tune in next time,
We hope
where
you
it
enjoyed
won't
the
be live,
pod.
probably.
That is full of live technical difficulties. And if you're just stopping by, sorry, you're too late. You can follow me on Twitter at @PepperedHam. You can follow our two buddies. Oh, look at that! I just said people were too
I'm pointing
late
at the
and one
Twitters, not
person left.
my
They
crotch.
joined and left. That sucks.
Bye.
Anyway.
Thank you very much for watching.
Oh,
and,
our
we
Twitter
shall
handles
see
are on the
you-
screen. Well, if you're listening and you're not looking at the screen, you can follow me at @PepperedHam. You can follow the podcast at Podcast. You can follow Ebby at BizarreJelly5. You can follow Kinross at Kinross07. You can follow Hideo Kojima. You could
Die
follow.
freeze.
You could follow. No,
Yeah,
I
it's
think
a
you're
little
good, Ebby. Kinross is just in his techno state again. He's like.
In the context of the stream, I'm fine. In the context of the stream, they probably didn't hear that the Permadeath podcast Twitter is at Perma
Very
Podcast.
good, everybody.
Thank you very much for watching, and
tuning
we
in,
shall see
everybody.
you. Bye.